What's going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now, what I thought I would talk about in this video is two of my most recent development projects, right? I have one ground up project and one gut rehab that I initially thought I would keep as an apartment building and rent out. I'm actually flipping into a condo play, right? So what I thought I would do is talk about why I decided to flip these projects from apartments to condos. And I'll give you guys the exact financial reasoning, based on my own business, the growth of my business, other projects I have lined up, the debt markets. That way, if you guys are starting out your own projects, you guys can kind of think about, well, hey, which way do I want to go, right? Apartments, condos. So I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and we're going to get after it right now. What's going on, guys? My name is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now, as I said before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, two super quick things, guys. Number one, if this is your first time on my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I'm still putting out content every single week on this channel, whether it's videos of my own construction sites, to basically thoughts on multifamily development, investment, construction, and literally everything in between. If that's the kind of content you're looking for, make sure you subscribe. So with that, let's get right into the thick of it and talk about why I decided to convert two of my recent projects, one a ground up development and one gut rehab, from apartments to condos. So the big reason, number one, I'm going to talk about is trapped equity. And when I talk about trapped equity, I'm actually referring to two different things, right? There's the initial equity that we put into both projects, right? And if you guys have seen my videos, you know that our models, we typically raise some sort of LP capital, whether it's in an equity structure or debt structure, we inject that into our deals. But we also put in our own cash into the deals, right? To get them moving, to get them kind of rolling faster. So we basically have a combination of LP equity and our own cash tied up in these deals. And then there's the equity that we created through the forced nature of construction, right? So like that's the reward essentially we're creating by doing the renovations or the ground up development, right? So there's two aspects of that equity. Now, one of the things that I'm trying to manage in our business is, we're trying to take down larger development deals right now, right? A lot of the deals that I've been doing have been ground up and gut rehab single families to 3 units, and some 6s. But my sight is on larger multifamily development over the next year or two. I've got one big project lined up. And one of the things I have to do is manage both my cash and LP cash a lot more strategically, right? So if I was going to keep these buildings as apartment buildings, they would definitely have equity created. But if I try to go into a cash out refinance, I wouldn't necessarily be able to get return all of that equity back, right? Most of it I think would come out, but I would still definitely have some of my own cash trapped in, and I would still probably have a little bit of LP capital still trapped in after the refinance, just given where rates are today, unfortunately, in the market. So that's number one. And then number two, in terms of the equity we actually created by doing the construction, right? By doing the gut rehab or doing that new development aspect, there's no way we'd be able to really really be able to leverage that in any significant way. It's great and it would be there as an apartment building and, it'd be part of our net worth, but it wouldn't be cash that we can kind of parlay into more and larger projects, right? So again, thinking strategically about my business growth, about the types of development deals we want to take down in the future, I decided, hey, you know what? I should just go cash out today. Yeah, I'm going to go, I'm going to get hit with capital gains and all that. That's fine. It is what it is. It's part of the business, right? But at least I'm going to have the liquidity, my own cash, my own profits, my LPs are going to get liquid again. And between all that, I should be able to continue to fund more and more deals and really grow this thing out. The second reason I decided to convert these from apartments to condos is really the debt markets, right? And I kind of touched upon it on point number one. But, rates are still kind of high today, right? So, I talked to a couple of my local community banks that I've used that I will get debt from. And today, if I were to go look at a cash out refi, I'd probably be looking around a rate of a high 6s to a 7, which makes it difficult from two perspectives. Number one, it would really limit the amount of cash out proceeds I can take out, right? Because, if you've done cash outs, you know that typically the lender will limit your LTV based on the debt service coverage ratio, right? And obviously with a higher interest rate, it's going to be harder to meet that debt service coverage ratio. So your LTV is going to get shrunk, right? And not even to mention that a lot of banks today are actually increasing their debt service coverage ratio thresholds, right? So it makes it even tighter. So again, it's going to be very hard from an interest rate perspective and from a debt service coverage ratio perspective to be able to pull out any significant proceeds out of the deal. And then point number two about the debt side is, with the higher rates, honestly, my cash flows are going to get hit too, right? So if I'm going to go and gut rehab or develop an apartment building, I would want some sort of cash flow, right? I've talked about on this channel where I'm not that sensitive, right? Because I play in the Boston market. So generally our cash flows are tight anyway. But listen, if I'm going to go ground up, new construction, spend like 3 years of my life on a parcel, I would want some sort of decent yield, right? That's, maybe I wouldn't, maybe my expectation wouldn't be as high still, but I would want some yield. And honestly, the fact that I would barely be getting any just doesn't really make sense for me to sit on that on the property, as much as I love both of these locations. Trust me, I am super, super high on both of these spots. I've got a lot of rental property next to each of these projects, so that they would fit perfectly. But again, from the debt side, it wouldn't really make sense. And finally, point number three that I kind of thought about was, the sales market kind of skyrocketed quite a bit over the last 2-3 months or so, after having a really slow 2023, right? So in Boston, and I know in a lot of parts of the country, a lot of 2023 was very, very slow, right? The sales market was kind of really took a break because rates were super, super high. But kind of that November, December timeline, as rates started to drop a little bit, we noticed really quickly that the sales market just opened up, right? Now we're back to, massive bidding wars, massive amounts of offers on each property. In my opinion, actually in Boston, the Boston market, we're probably not too far away from the level of activity that and craziness that we had during COVID. So the sales market has really, really picked up. So honestly, it's kind of good timing, and I should just kind of, and I thought I might as well just take advantage of the craziness of the market, right? If, the market's doing well, you might as well go rip out the units as condos and capitalize on that, right? Because, a lot of people will say developing condos is very much a timing thing, and I would agree, right? If I had developed these a year earlier, I would probably be a lot more nervous about putting these on the market, right? Because the market was completely different. Things were sitting much, much longer, not selling, selling at ask or below ask. But now this year it's completely changed. So again, I thought it makes sense to go and capitalize on this opportunity that we have in the marketplace. Now, one follow-up question that you may have is, hey Lior, you converted these from apartments to condos. From a construction perspective, was anything altered, right? Did that mess up at all, the fact that you switched? And, generally for the most part, not really. Our layouts on the new development side, we kind of built them to be open concept and modern anyway. So if we were going to keep them as apartments, they would look nice. They would have open concept kitchen living with a nice bedroom count. Honestly, they do just as well on the condo side. Same thing with the gut rehab. They would be good apartment layouts, but they're just fine condo layouts as well. Really, a lot of the things that we did as upgrades for condos came during the rough stages and the finish selection process. And again, we've kind of decided we're going to most likely go the condo route for several months now, while both projects were rough. So we really added a couple of extra touches that we thought were appropriate for condos to make them stand out a little bit more than the average white box that we might compete against. So a lot of those adjustments we made pretty quickly. The design package and the finish packages we obviously upgraded, got much nicer appliance packages, much nicer tile packages, floors, hardware, all that, right? So we were able to actually make a very smooth transition, and now we're just about ready to put out the final product that I think looks really, really good and is very much top of the line condo quality. So from a construction perspective, we kind of made that decision at the right time, just, as we were making the big decisions. So it worked out pretty well. So those are my thoughts. If you guys are going through something similar, hopefully this is helpful to you guys. Hopefully this gets your brain turning a little bit. Of course, if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments below, and I will definitely help you